I was born in Newport News, Virginia, stayed there for the very first part of my life, and then moved to Hampton, Virginia just as it was time to go to elementary school. I just remember a childhood that was filled with lots of love and support from my family, especially mom and dad, of course, and just having great grandparents, lots of cousins and other kids around. And it was just a very joyful time in life, even though we probably weren't rich by way of finances, but we were rich in love and support.
Your pathways led you to higher education. Let's talk about that.
Well, throughout the course of what I wanted to do in life, I wanted to, since I was a little kid, become a special agent in the FBI. So for me, I knew that meant you had to get your college degree. So that led me to James Madison University. But of all things, I started off as a music major. I was a bassoonist until about the beginning of my sophomore year, and I realized if I stayed on that path with all the other talented folks out there, I was probably going to starve to death. So that kind of led me right back to the dream of becoming an FBI agent. I got a degree in journalism, and I went through the ROTC program because I thought that would be a great way to just get some experience. Plus, I think my father wanted to make sure I was off the payroll when I got my degree. After that, spent time in the military, 24 years as a special agent in the FBI. And I wanted to do something to give back with everything that I had learned over the course of my time in the military and in government service. And I ended up going to work at Alabama A&M University, worked in the athletic department for about 4 years, and also served as an adjunct instructor in the criminal justice program. I figured that was really a way to give back and let people know what it would take to move a career ahead in criminal justice for all those law enforcement majors. So very gratifying period of time doing that.
Which led you to other venues, being a great speaker also. I've seen you spearhead many different sessions and different organizations in the past, which led to the Village of Promise. Tell me about the connection and what is the Village of Promise?
So a lot of folks want to know how I got into the Village of Promise and the work that we do here. And for me, it kind of stems from two things. One, the way in which I grew up. First part of my life actually started in poverty, living in a housing project. But my father was supported by his extended village that helped him get in a position to save up money so that he could purchase the family home, which gave us a totally different trajectory in life. And I rolled the camera ahead to my law enforcement career, spent some time working drug and gang task forces in a lot of different roles. And I think over time, when I was in the Washington, D.C. area, I got tired of looking at people that looked like I did getting put in handcuffs. And I just thought there has to be an earlier way to intervene in a child's life so that they don't get on that pipeline from going through school straight into the criminal justice system. So roll the camera ahead another 30 years, and I got an opportunity to lead this organization, the Village of Promise. And their sole function was to basically work with children and take them from cradle to career, making sure that by the time they hit the 12th grade, they were either ready to go into the workforce or ready to go on to college and get their 4-year degree. And to me, that was the perfect way to answer that question of several years back, what could I do to make a difference in someone's life? And I thought the Village of Promise really served that purpose.
Tell me about some of the facets of the Village of Promise.
Well, the Village of Promise is a unique organization in that we are trying to focus on generational poverty and helping people move from generational poverty to self-sustainability. What's a little different is it is place-based in the way we do the work. So we're focused on one community here in Huntsville, the Northwoods community, and the surrounding area of Calvary Hill and the Love community. And we basically have a preschool that we support kids from as young as 6 weeks of age up through getting ready to go into kindergarten. And we build services to educate those kids to make sure they're kindergarten ready. But the difference for what we do is we also provide wraparound services for the families. So we are actually trying to help families move from generational poverty, but we're focusing on two generations. We're focused on the kids, but we're also focused on their parents. So for us, it's a matter of the parents telling us, what does success look like? What are your dreams for your family? And the Village of Promise serves as an ecosystem to bring together the resources that can help families attain those dreams.
So it's more than just handing this to a community, it's empowering them to advance to higher heights.
Our job is to empower families to move on to become productive members of their community, and it's also being there so they don't have to take that walk, which can be very daunting if you don't know how to utilize the system to your advantage. And that is part of our job, to walk hand in hand with those families to ensure that they are successful.
One phase of the Village of Promise in conjunction with other organizations is the One Table. How does that fit in?
One Table Huntsville, it's an interesting community-wide event, and it's an opportunity sponsored by the Village of Promise, but it's not really about the village per se, but it's an opportunity for us to bring all different facets of the community together. Huntsville was named the best place to live in the year 22-23, and that's great for part of our community that does move forward, but there's another section of the community that's under-resourced, and it's incumbent upon us, if we really want to make this the best place to live, is to make sure we don't leave any segment of the community behind. One Table Huntsville is an opportunity to bring all segments of the community together for a Thanksgiving-style meal. There's no agenda, and we want to have deep, rich conversations around people's lives, their experiences, so we can see that even though we may come from different parts of the economic strata, so to speak, it's an opportunity to have real conversations about who we are, how we grew up, and how we got to the places that we are in life.
You also have a fond love, as you said, for music, and are you still involved with the marching bands and drum and bugle corps competitions?
One of the things that I really miss when I was over at Alabama A&M University, we were working with Drum Corps International to bring music to the campus, and I think my goal was to make sure that we were bringing in people to Alabama A&M University that had never set foot there. I really like to be involved in things that can connect different parts of our community. Drum Corps International is a perfect way to do that. Although Drum Corps International hadn't been here in a few years, we're hoping that at some point that does return to the campus, because I think it was a beloved event by the community. And in the interim, I'm still involved with marching a little bit back with James Madison University. Got a chance to go with the JMU marching band when they went to Italy to play for the New Year's Day parade at the Vatican. So that was quite an experience. And I was fortunate enough to go with the marching maroon and white when they went to the Macy's parade this past Thanksgiving as part of the group of supporters and fans that went up with the band. So that's one of those things that'll never leave my heart. I'm always going to have that connection.
With that in mind, do you foresee maybe a chance of some music tutorial beginnings through the Village of Promise?
Yeah, one of the things we do is we have a great partnership with the Huntsville Symphony Orchestra. Last year we have a summer reading program that's called Freedom School, and we had been gifted a number of violins and stringed instruments. Well, this past summer, as part of our reading curriculum, during the day the students are focused on reading during this 6-week summer reading camp, but the afternoon is all about experiential learning. And we had a violinist from the Huntsville Symphony Orchestra that came over and taught the kids how to play violin. And at the end of the camp, they got a chance to do a little recital in front of their parents and people from the neighborhood, which was phenomenal. And we hope to do that again this summer. Pretty soon we're going to have part of the pep band from over at Alabama A&M. They're going to come over and just do a performance for some of our kids as they're coming into school one morning. We had one of the football players this past fall who volunteered over here for us. The cheerleaders came by to do a couple of cheers and cheer kids on, and then actually sit and read to the students. And the kids just really loved that association with the Bulldogs.
Last question, future. Future of the Village of Promise and the future for yourself.
Future for the Village of Promise, what we see is hopefully changing the lives, transforming the lives of these 280 some odd households that are out in the Northwoods community, and hopefully get their children on the pathway to success in the job force or academic success as they go on to college. We're also going to be focused on where do we go next. There's a number of neighborhood communities that have the same issues, and we want to be able to address that here locally, and we want to help neighborhoods and communities of similar sizes across the country come to us to figure out how best to deal with this issue of generational poverty for small to medium-sized cities.
And Dana Gillis.
What's next for Dana Gillis? Continued involvement no matter what I'm doing with the Village of Promise. At some point, I want to raise the next generation of leaders that will stand in the breach, can run organizations like the Village of Promise, and hopefully encourage those folks that have gone on to success out of their experience with the Village of Promise to come back and to continue to serve their community.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.